Go ahead. Okay. Off to a great start already. Welcome.
That was funny.
Wow, thank you. Hello, and welcome to Cracked Sisters Conspiracies. We're a podcast that covers conspiracy theories, mysteries, and all of our spooky shit. My name's Jackie.
And I'm Cassandra.
And we are said sisters.
We have a special guest today.
We do. Who are you?
James.
This is my retarded friend, James.
You can't say that word. Yeah.
We have talked about this. It is 2023. You're going to offend everyone.
So, James, who are you?
Just a person.
You're
Oh.
just a person.
I know you from work.
You do know me
Yeah.
from work. Okay.
And
We'll leave it at
occasionally extracurricular activities, which we're all pretty terrible at collectively.
Tennis,
Golf.
It was pickleball.
pickleball. I couldn't think
No,
of
we
what it
played
was called.
tennis once.
We played tennis before.
That was a disaster.
He just yelled at me the whole time.
That sounds
I
about
guess
right.
there's rules in tennis, which I did not abide by. Or
You know
no.
what? That's right. I remember hearing about it, and I'm like, I don't want to
And they
meet
tried
this
to play
guy.
with you like that, and we were like, "This is stupid," so we didn't.
And then we played golf with him instead, and then it went fantastically.
I mean, to be fair, you sucked the first time we played golf.
He gave me some decent pointers though, and it helped.
Yes, you did.
Well, I was rusty. I hadn't played in a while.
Oh,
You
good
did
excuse.
better the second time.
The second
we went
time.
out.
Yeah, I played a couple times after, and I was ready.
Anyhow.
Okay, so what are you covering today?
Yeah, because we are not having a topic. You are having a topic.
It is my
today.
topic. Yes. So a while back, you guys did a conspiracy theory of whether or not Tupac was still alive.
Mhm.
True, we did.
So I'm not here to dispute that or say otherwise. I think he is dead.
Okay.
Uh,
That answers that question.
All right.
So, not too long after he died, his rap rival from the East Coast, Biggie Smalls, aka
Yes.
or Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls, was killed in Los Angeles.
Was he?
He
Dun,
was.
dun, dun.
We're not disputing that.
I don't think there's ever been
I don't-
a theory that he's not dead.
I don't know. I still don't know what the
No.
topic is yet. There's a lot of
So there's a
things
lot
out
of
here.
controversy and conspiracies on who
On-
killed Biggie
Oh,
There we go.
and
okay.
whether or not they know who did it, but it was covered up by the LAPD and all sorts of things.
Oh,
So
okay. I didn't know any
yeah,
of
it's
some
a
corruption involved.
The LAPD
possibly.
never.
I'm not here to badmouth any agency or anything.
It's okay.
obviously,
Everything we
but
say is alleged.
yes,
So don't
everything's
sue
alleged.
us.
Well, most of the information was gathered from a book called Labyrinth by Randall Sullivan.
Did you actually read this?
I read
book?
that book a while ago.
Oh, okay.
It's an older book. But most recently it was made into a movie with Johnny Depp called City of Lies.
Oh, I've
which-
seen that. Okay.
Oh, have you?
I have.
Oh, okay.
yes.
So it would stayed pretty accurate to the book. I mean, there was obviously some dramatic leeway. What do they call it? Dramatic
Effect.
no. I don't know, I forget the word.
I know the phrase that you're trying to creative something. No, not
No, he said
dramatic.
dramatic.
I
Creative
know.
dramatic licensing or something like
yeah.
that.
Okay. Anywho,
Okay.
we all
Like
know what
what
you're
I
trying to
said.
So
say.
that, and then there's obviously numerous documentaries. There's one on HBO Max called Biggie and Tupac, which is pretty good. And then
Okay.
obviously there's the internet where you can,
The internet.
yeah, there's information. You can type something in and Google.
That
you
is
get
how we do
information.
99.9% of our research these days. Just
Yeah.
let it rip.
Okay. So obviously we know back in 1991, 92, there was the whole Rodney King thing.
Yes.
Okay. Put a big black eye on the, no pun intended, black eye.
Black eye, not black guy.
Yes.
So enunciation.
Which did help. So Rodney King was black, of course,
was.
and he was beaten by white officers. So
Yes.
And that
Uh,
was tried
And
locally
It was
here.
tried in CB
it was
Valley.
tried in Simi Valley. So that happened in 91 and 92. The verdict came down, the riots and everything. So the LAPD had kind of a whole black-white issue with them and the black community. So as we go along, think about that in the background, like why maybe some things happened
Okay.
allegedly.
Given the time.
Yes.
Okay.
So September 7th, 1996 was when Tupac was shot and killed in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
Okay. How did he came to be with Suge Knight at the time, who owned Death Row Records.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So
And they had left that nightclub, right?
Oh, in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yes. But prior to that, he came to Suge because Suge bailed him out of jail.
Right.
He was brought up on charges.
Yes.
His assault charges.
Right. He was appealing his conviction.
Mm-hmm.
So while he was appealing his conviction, he was able to bail out, but he didn't have any money. Suge put up the money, got him out. And then later, stop.
Verbal filler. Come on.
Yeah, I'm good at editing it out.
Tupac was later recorded All Eyes on Me, which was his greatest commercial album under the Death Row label.
Okay.
So it was a good investment for Suge, right? He paid a few $1,000s to get him out of bail, get him out of jail. And he turned around and made that money. So like you said, they were departing a Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas, in which Tupac got into a fight with Orlando Anderson as they were exiting the casino.
Yeah, Baby Lane? Or was that someone else?
I don't remember what his street name
I
was.
think it was Baby Lane, but
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, he was a Southside Compton Crips gang member. Suge was notoriously affiliated with the Bloods.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I got backwards
Yes,
the
you
first
did.
time. I was so tipsy at that point. I'm like, I don't know what day it was.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay. So there was actual beef with Orlando Anderson from an earlier encounter that happened in Los Angeles, like at a mall.
Was it like 90-10 or 80-20, maybe 85-15?
What do you,
What?
your percentages you're just throwing out?
They had beef. What?
Oh. Yeah.
Today.
All right. It was Father's Day yesterday, and that would be a dad joke, I guess.
Happy belated, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Okay. So
they had beef.
They had a beef with him. Tupac, for whatever reason, took it upon himself to attack Orlando, which most of the gang members that were affiliated with said that shouldn't have been him. It should have been one of the gang members that should have handled something with Orlando.
Okay.
Their job is to protect Tupac and keep him out of trouble. Anyway, he gets into trouble. So not too long after that, it was approximately 3 hours later, someone shot into the car that Tupac was in.
Vegas, yes.
In Vegas, fatally killing him. Okay, so little backstory on Orlando Anderson.
Okay.
He was the nephew of a man named Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefe D, who was also a Southside Crip. Sometime during the early 90s, Davis had formed a relationship with Sean Puff Daddy Combs.
Oh, P. Diddy.
I'm not sure how.
Wasn't P. Diddy on the East Coast?
He's the East Coast, but this guy was...
And this is the uncle of...
Orlando Anderson.
Orlando Anderson, okay.
Sorry.
It's okay, we edit all of that out.
It's fine.
Davis claimed that in 1996, Combs had put out a $1 million bounty on Tupac and Suge Knight.
Oh.
Okay.
Obviously, Combs denied that he ever did that.
Well, sure.
But for whatever reason, Davis says that happened. On July 2nd, 2018, Davis confessed to having a role in the killing of Tupac Shakur and revealing he was dying of cancer.
Okay, so like a deathbed confessional.
Yes, he went on to say he was the passenger in the white Cadillac on the night of the incident. He refused to name the other suspects in the car, but confirmed that the shooter was Orlando Anderson, his nephew.
Oh, okay.
And that it was out of retaliation for getting jumped earlier in the night at the casino.
After the fight.
Right.
And
Orlando Anderson is dead at this point. Like, I think he got capped later on.
So they said it was for retaliation and for the bounty.
Okay.
And like you said, Anderson was killed in a shooting in 1998, unrelated to all of this.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
Los Angeles police felt that they had provided Las Vegas with enough information to prosecute this case, or at least close it.
Against Davis?
Against Orlando Anderson.
But he's dead.
He's dead, but still you would...
Posthumously?
Yeah,
you can
posthumously.
still
I didn't know you could do that.
Do that. Or, well, they had given him information too, possibly before he died.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They felt that Las Vegas pretty much mishandled it and didn't really have much interest in solving this case.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, allegedly again, the city of Las Vegas was kind of going through a transformation where they were becoming more of a resort and family style thing.
So they didn't want anything to mar their image.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, this happened. It was people from LA. We're moving on, and that's it. So
Las Vegas is a terrible resort destination, by the way.
We've been there many times.
Yes, I know. And I am good for a lifetime, it feels like. Or maybe just not with a child, but
don't get in a fight with any Crips. And
I will try not to.
Know what's good for
That's
you.
usually not my, forte, but
that is true. But it's changing because no one offered me Coke last time we went.
We weren't offered or solicited for anything.
Drugs. I was quite hurt. Anyway.
I guess you don't look like a cokehead.
I guess not.
That's a good thing.
Question? I feel like cokeheads are classy.
Oh, okay.
I was saying
Cokehead
I'm not
versus crackhead.
Yeah, not crack.
That's different.
Coke is classy.
Did they offer you crack this time? Because
are you saying I look like a crackhead?
James had jokes.
All right. So moving on.
Yes.
Let's see. Not more than a year later, in March 9th, 1997, Christopher Wallace was shot and killed in Los Angeles, aka Biggie Smalls.
Oh,
Almost referred to him as Christopher Wallace. Okay.
Biggie?
I'm
not going to remember.
Who's white guy named that we're talking about.
All
what
right.
does this have to do with Biggie?
And Biggie's from New York, right?
He is.
Okay.
He'd come out here to promote his album, and then there was some sort of music awards or something.
Okay.
And allegedly to the people affiliated with Tupac and them felt it was a little on the nose for him to come out so early after Tupac's death.
Okay.
To kind of celebrate himself.
Okay.
And rub it in a little
Correct.
bit. Mm-hmm.
So on March 9th, 1997, like we said, around 12:30 a.m., Biggie, Bad Boy Records CEO Sean Puffy Combs, and their entourage left the Soul Train Music Awards after party, which was being held at the Peterson Automotive Museum.
In Los Angeles?
Yeah, like LA Beverly Hills area.
Okay.
They left in 2 GMC Suburbans, and it was being followed by a security detail in another vehicle.
Okay.
So,
Caravan.
yeah, the party it was planned to go longer. It had been shut down by a fire marshal due to the crowd.
Fucking fire marshals.
So Biggie traveled in the front passenger seat of the second Suburban alongside his associates Damon D-Rock Butler, Junior Mafia member Little C's, I don't know. Cease, like cease and desist.
Cease candy.
Really?
Yeah.
God damn.
And driver Gregory G. Money Young. Combs traveled in the first vehicle with 3 of his bodyguards. And like I said, there was a third vehicle. There was a Chevrolet Blazer that had the director of security in it. By 12:45 a.m., the streets were crowded with cars full of people leaving the event. Wallace's truck or Suburban had stopped at the light right in front of the museum, Biggie. Simultaneously, a dark Chevrolet Impala pulled up alongside Wallace's SUV. The driver of the Impala, an African-American male, rolled down his window, drew a 9mm blue steel pistol, and fired several rounds into the GMC Suburban.
Another drive-by.
And wait,
see a theme here.
Which car was Biggie in? The second one?
The second
Who
Suburban,
was in the
yes.
first one?
Puffy.
Okay. And then security was in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a third car.
I would never sit in the front seat, by the way. I would be laying down in that third row. You would never know.
With
I was in the car.
bulletproof.
Yeah.
Thing.
Fuck that.
So 4 of the 5 shots hit Wallace in the chest. He was rushed to the Cedar Sinai. By them, they drove him there themselves.
It's actually pretty good.
I picked up Dodger tickets.
And he was pronounced dead at 1:15.
At 1:15 in the morning.
Yes.
Okay.
So
what does AM stand for? Do you know?
After Meridian?
After Meridian? What's PM? Pre-Meridian?
Prime Meridian? I don't know.
Prime Meridian. Isn't that something else?
This is something that has plagued me, but I won't Google it. I think about it often.
This is a good time to bring it up.
It is.
Is there any other things that are bothering you?
No.
Interrupt
I'm sure
my.
they will keep coming.
All right. Things comes up, just let us know. Okay.
With what is on video.
All right.
Loosen up a bit.
A,
sir.
B, B, C. Do you know those?
Take another drink.
Shot?
No.
Yeah. Can you?
I have an acid reflux
Please.
situation. So we're kind of going on a timeline here of events that happened that led to everything.
Logical retelling of the event.
And then we're going to get into some more details of each event.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay. So now we're up to March 18th, 1997. Okay.
I was trying to think of where I was at that time. Can't remember.
You ever seen the movie Crash?
Crash?
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen that movie.
No, I haven't.
Shocking. Anyway, the opening.
There's Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, it's
Yes,
kind of
everything kind of ties
all these
together
different
in a weird
stories.
way.
Yes. Well,
It was good.
if you kind of read,
You guys are just saying words that
Because
don't make sense.
We're communicating
Well,
on a different
what
level.
if our 5 listeners haven't heard of this movie, huh?
Okay, fine.
now they'll go out and see it.
How old is it?
Like 20 years old at
Yeah,
least.
it won like Best Picture, I believe.
Picture.
So
Okay.
we were talking about what, 97?
97.
Well, it had to be after 97
Oh.
because the opening scene of that movie is based on this next part.
no,
okay.
no.
I remember the first time I saw it, I was working at Harley. So I was 18. So that would have been 2000 and
No, you weren't 18 in 97.
no. When I saw the movie, I was
Oh.
18 because I was working at Harley.
Hmm.
And so that was like 2000.
All right, shut up because I got married in 97. So stop.
I was
She was an infant, essentially. You were a toddler, excuse me.
All right.
5-year-old.
I was 10. Ew. Just kidding.
So, March 18th, 97, Frank Lega shot and killed Kevin Gaines in a road rage incident in Studio City.
Who are these people?
Yeah, do they have any?
I will tell you.
Okay.
Okay.
The shooting was investigated by LAPD Detective Russell Poole. During the investigation, Poole discovered that Gaines had ties to Death Row Records and the Bloods, and also dated Suge Knight's ex-wife.
Ooh.
Additionally, the vehicle driven by Gaines at the time of the shooting was registered to Death Row Records.
Oh.
Uh,
And that is Suge Knight, who is Tupac's side.
Frank Lega, who shot him,
Mm-hmm.
was a LAPD narcotics detective.
Wait,
Oh.
who shot
Who is
who?
Kevin Gaines,
Okay.
who's everything I just read to you.
Okay.
I think she is confused on where Kevin Gaines fits into
Yes.
You'll see.
the mix.
Okay.
So, at the time when Gaines was killed, he was 31 and a 7-year veteran of the LAPD,
So an officer was killed named Gaines.
named Gaines. So obviously this was, and Liga was also an officer
Is
who
he
happened to
a
be
Marine
white.
and a tiger hybrid.
What are you, Napoleon?
No, you're thinking of a
Dynamite?
Liger. It's Liga.
Like,
So, Frank Liga was white. Gaines was black. This was a situation where two officers were in a shooting. The officer that killed Gaines was white. Gaines was black. He was dead. So the LAPD now had an issue where,
Wait,
one of
so white officer Liga killed black officer Gaines?
yes,
tensions are
Oh.
high to begin
you have
with.
to remember LAPD has 10,000 officers on their department. So
Oh.
Liga's driving down the street. They get into this road rage.
Okay.
He's actually on the radio because he's in his UC car, undercover car. He tells his part of his team that what's going on. There's guys chasing him, whatever. Liga goes to pull over. So Gaines pulls over.
Mhm.
As soon as Gaines pulls over, he takes off. They end up, and then Gaines is on it again, chasing him.
Yeah.
They end up driving into a parking lot. Gaines pulls a weapon. Liga was faster with his.
Oh.
He shoots and kills Gaines.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody knows Gaines is an officer.
Got it, because he was undercover.
No, Gaines was
Oh.
off duty. Liga was undercover.
Dude, okay, I got
White
it.
Liga was undercover.
Right.
And yeah, and then Black Gaines was off duty. And
Correct.
neither knew each other was an officer.
Oh,
So they think
okay.
they're White Liga thinks he's, just road rage
This
with
feels
a
like just a big
civilian.
misunderstanding
Black
all
Gaines
over.
thinks he's road rage with a white civilian. They have no idea he's
Got
an
it.
officer. Okay.
Liga immediately identifies himself after the shooting as an officer.
Oh,
Hook up.
Right.
just like that.
They don't actually discover
Accurately
Gaines as an
telling.
officer until someone's at the hospital and they look at his ID.
Oh,
And they're both LAPD technically?
Yes.
Okay.
Not technically, they are.
Oh, they are.
That's who they work
Yeah.
for, LAPD.
Okay.
Uh,
And that's such a big department.
so the investigation into Gaines's behavior also provided the first clues to the widespread police corruption of the Rampart scandal,
Okay, we just talked about
which will
this.
eventually play a part
And
in
I
this.
forgot to look into it.
I
'cause
don't
didn't
know
read
what
the
that is.
Wikipedia page you sent me all the way. What is it again?
Oh,
The Rampart
her
scandal?
research and not me.
So what is
We
the
have it.
Rampart scandal?
We'll get into it a little bit more.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
That's fine.
We cover it. Okay. So that was March 18th, 1997 was the shooting. Now, November 6th of later that year of 97, a man named David Mack robbed a bank of $700,000.
Which
in-
is nothing in today's dollars. Just saying,
Oh, well,
inflation's a
I
bitch.
guess. For those of you with money, $700,000 is nothing.
Oh, it's $700.
No, 700,000.
I'll take 700,000.
Ah, you can buy a decent house for that.
Nah.
That was 700,000 in 1990s. That's
1997.
Yeah,
That's not what that's worth now.
It's like, shouldn't
this
be
is true. This is true.
That's
million?
not. No, there's future value and present. We're not getting into that. A dollar today is not worth the same as it is in the future. Continue.
Okay.
But
So
does
neither
it
of you
all
know who
thing?
David Mack is, correct?
No.
No.
Okay.
Just
So
gonna
we'll leave it at
argue
that.
about money.
All right. So in August of 1997, Errol Lynn Romero became employed at a Bank of America branch near the University of Southern California.
Working for a bank sounds like the pits. Continue.
Okay. Like I said, on November 6th, David Mack and two accomplices entered the bank, and Mack claimed he wanted to access his safe deposit box.
Okay.
Romero, who we mentioned earlier, admitted him to the secure area where he threw it to the floor and robbed the vault of $722,000.
So like straight cash.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In her capacity as branch assistant manager,
And her?
There's a her.
Romero. Yeah,
Romero's
that's the
a
female.
female?
Errol Lynn. Yeah, she's a female.
Oh,
We didn't pick up on
Sorry, my bad.
how is
Yeah.
that name
You're
spelled? Errolyn.
Yeah,
That's a weird ass name.
it is one of a kind.
like Marilyn
No,
without the
Yeah.
M.
no,
Kind of like Errol Flynn.
no.
Is that an old guy?
Anyway, she had ordered double the usual amount of cash to be on hand at the bank the day of the robbery.
Also, it's an inside.
After 1 month of
Mm.
investigation, Romero confessed to her role in the crime and implicated Mack as the mastermind.
This was not the day of abundant reserves. Okay, so that is a little.
I don't even know what you just said.
Finance talk.
Yeah.
He was Mack was arrested in December of 97.
Okay.
His two accomplices were never caught.
Was
Mack,
it one Romero?
so,
Isn't she technically an accomplice?
oh, well, he entered the bank with himself and
two
two other
guys.
people.
Okay.
She was already in the bank working.
Gotcha.
Mack was sentenced to 14 years and 3 months in prison and has never revealed the whereabouts of the money.
Snitches get stitches.
Mack claimed he could do 14 years in prison standing on his head and then it was no big deal. He
Is Mac
also
black?
he is.
Well, that's relevant. This is a very white versus black story.
He
That
also
is
allegedly
true.
claimed his allegiance to the Bloods and that he was a full member.
Mm.
Now, the kicker with Mack, also LAPD.
Really?
Yes.
The plot thickens.
Oh wow!
And worked in Rampart.
Oh.
And you still have to tell us what Rampart is, but that's fine.
It sounds.
And I'm sorry, what was Biggie? No,
juicy.
Biggie was on the East Coast. What was Tupac?
He wasn't anything, actually.
He was
Well,
just
what
a
was
free
Suge?
floater.
Suge was Blood.
Suge was a Blood. Okay.
Now, whether or not he was actually a member of the Blood gang, that's, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air because he actually played football and went on to play football in college
Mm.
and had some shots at the NFL.
Okay.
So he was definitely affiliated with the Bloods and had a lot of Bloods working for him.
Full blown member.
Right.
Okay. God, these cops at LAPD, my goodness. Okay.
So I'm sure you've heard the name Rafael Perez.
You're so sure?
Yes.
No. Okay.
I have no idea who that is.
All right. Rafael Perez was like the name in the Rampart scandal.
Okay. Again,
He was
I
the
don't
guy.
know anything
I
about
know
the
I've
Rampart.
heard Rampart scandal, but I don't remember what it is.
Okay.
Rafael
Well, again,
Perez.
like I said, we'll get into it. We kind of touch on it a little bit.
Like when?
When was the Rampart scandal?
Like when do we
Late
touch on
90s.
it?
Oh, later. today.
Later?
Yes.
Okay.
A Cliff's Note version of what it is.
I don't want to interrupt his flow. He has these beautiful notes.
Is it
typed out.
like corrupt
Well,
officers?
we're gonna talk about it a
Okay.
little bit right now.
Okay.
So on August 25th of 1998, Rafael Perez, an LAPD officer, was arrested for stealing cocaine from an LAPD evidence locker.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
On August 25th, 1998, Perez, then age 31 and a 9-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department, was arrested for stealing 6 pounds of cocaine from a department property room. The theft was originally suspected to be an attempt at framing fellow officer Frank Liga in retaliation for the shooting of Perez's friend Kevin Gaines.
So is Perez black?
This hurts a little
Or
bit.
maybe
He was actually Puerto
Hispanic.
Rican.
I was gonna say, based on the
Or something?
I am. So yes,
are
he
you
was.
Puerto Rican or something?
Sorry, you can answer that.
Pick your question to answer.
No, I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So Perez was friends with Gaines, whom Liga, the white officer, killed during
Correct.
the
Correct.
road rage incident. Okay. So he stole the coke to frame Liga, the white officer, allegedly.
Allegedly,
Okay.
they think that may have been the reason.
Yeah, I need
The cocaine was estimated to be worth $800,000 on the street.
Damn.
His December 1998 trial ended as a mistrial. In order to avoid a second trial and the possible conviction of a second wife, who, according to authorities, may have known about Perez's illegal activities, cut a plea bargain In his
Okay.
plea bargain, he revealed the Rampart scandal in exchange for immunity for his misconduct.
Oh, okay.
So we're not going to get too into the Rampart scandal because that's like a whole nother.
Another topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not really a conspiracy. It's not really a conspiracy, but
Okay.
it's an issue. Basically, what happened was he ended up rolling on most of.
Perez did.
Yeah,
Okay.
Perez on everyone that was on the Rampart scandal. They were in a unit called Crash, which was a gang type unit that
Okay.
went in and did a lot of the tough work down in the Rampart area, which is not the greatest neighborhood in the world.
Rampart's a place. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Rampart
I
Station.
did not know
There's
that either.
there's an area of LA called Rampart,
Oh.
and then there's an actual Rampart division of LAPD
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
that works out. So just to recap
Mhm.
over the timeline, Rodney King, 91, 92.
Mm-hmm.
Bad News Bears.
It's a movie, isn't it?
Yes, that was just my commentary, not an actual event. Keep going.
Okay.
Movie.
Somewhere, and then the Bad News Bears was involved in some.
Thing with bad news. Go.
Oh, gotcha.
God
Okay.
damn it.
September 7th,
Clear.
1996, Tupac Shakur was shot and killed in Las Vegas.
Correct. Or was he? No, he was. Did he die?
There you
Dun,
go.
dun, dun. Did you lose the page?
Nope. March 9th, 1997, Notorious B.I.G., aka Christopher Wallace, was shot and killed in Los Angeles.
We're just calling him Biggie because we don't know
Biggie.
who Christopher Wallace is.
Sorry. It's a Russell Poole thing.
What's Russell? Who's
He's
Russell?
a detective. March 18th, 1997, Frank Liga shoots and kills Kevin Gaines in a road rage incident.
Yes.
November 6th, 1997, David Mack robs a bank of $700,000. August 25th, 1998, Rafael Perez is arrested for stealing cocaine from an LAPD evidence locker.
Okay.
To frame Liga.
Allegedly. They don't
Yes.
know for sure. So all of that leads to an investigation.
But through the LAPD.
Yes. And Russell Poole becomes the lead detective in most of these cases.
Here we go.
There
Got
we
it.
go.
Is
So
Russell Poole white or black?
he's white. And he was a
Sounds like a
detective.
very
And he's
white name.
currently dead.
He's currently dead.
Yeah, he died of like a heart attack or something.
Job sounds
So-
stressful.
Yeah. So he put a lot of work in. Anyway, so there ends up being two investigations into this, two different theories of who killed Biggie Smalls.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are those theories? Are we going to get into it or do you need
This is where we go.
Okay, here we go.
It's about right here, baby.
That's the energy that I need you to sustain for the rest
Uh,
of this podcast.
That was about as energetic as it. Now it'll go back down to normal.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
So, Detective Russell Poole's involvement in the Rampart scandal began less than 6 months before Wallace's murder and a year before Perez was arrested. His involvement started when Poole and his robbery homicide detective unit partner, Fred Miller, were assigned to investigate the 1997 Studio City shooting death of Kevin Gaines.
See that?
we talked about
fucking
earlier.
You
fast.
could barely
Right?
say it once.
As we know, Gaines was killed in the road rage incident
Mhm.
after he brandished a gun at another motorist who happened to be an undercover officer named Frank Liga.
Unbeknownst to him.
Yes.
Poole was not the original detective that handled the Biggie Smalls killing. LAPD Worcester Division ended up investigating the case for the first month. During the course of that first month, he received a phone call from Worcester detectives stating that there was a possibility that Gaines may have been involved in the Biggie Smalls killing. That was the first clue that came and led Poole to be the lead investigator. After months of investigating, Poole accused LAPD officer David Mack, along with Mack's friend Amir Mohammed, of being complicit in the murder of Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls.
I feel like that's a big deal to accuse someone.
Well, I
else.
mean, he did rob a bank.
well,
So he's not the best officer.
right, but
Right.
like if that hadn't been a thing beforehand, like I just feel like throwing out
Yeah.
accusations would be a big deal.
Yeah,
like-
especially for the LAPD. They normally
Right?
cover for
So there's a
one
lot that
another.
led up to that. It wasn't
Sure.
just like,
Uh-huh.
hey, I think that guy did.
that was
it,
kind of
right?
like the icing on
So
the cake.
essentially, as of right now, there's kind of two sets of LAPD officers. One that may have been somehow involved with the killing and shooting of Biggie Smalls, and then some that are investigating it. Is that fair to say?
Well, there's LAPD as a whole, like
Yeah.
doing their job
Yes.
normally. There seems to be a certain set of officers
That are somehow involved.
that are somehow involved.
Okay.
They're working for Biggie off duty, and they're kind of
okay.
affiliated with the blood.
Gotcha,
and-
gotcha,
and
gotcha.
that.
Okay.
Okay. So, like I said, he names them as involved in the murder.
Mhm.
A witness of the shooting provided a description of a black male wearing a blue suit with a bow tie. He also provided that information to a police sketch artist, and the result was a composite that was similar to Amir Mohammed.
And
However,
Amir Muhammad was one of Rafael Perez's
no,
or
associate of David Mack.
Mac's accomplice.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, Amir was never questioned regarding the murder of Christopher Wallace.
Biggie.
So we're going to take a little detour now.
Okay.
That's what we're great at.
All right. So there's a man named Eugene Deal. He was Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy bodyguard.
Okay.
Okay. The night of the party, he was told by a friend who was in a federal penitentiary to vest up.
What does that mean?
Means
Like wear a vest?
wear a
Oh,
body,
oh.
wear a bulletproof vest.
Okay.
So
You're
he
an
informed
idiot.
Combs that someone may try to kill them tonight. Combs brushed it off. Deal took the information seriously and was on high alert.
Mhm.
While standing outside Combs' vehicle waiting for the rest of the group so they could leave the party, he was approached by a man who appeared to be from the Nation of Islam, wearing a blue suit, white shirt,
And
and
bow
blue
tie?
bow tie.
Oh.
Deal had his weapon at the ready, and the man just looked at him and walked away. Deal was a little confused by that. He's like, "Why are you holding a gun?" Nothing like that. This guy just looks at him and walks away. Feels like,
So Bowtie had the gun, not
no,
Deal.
no, Deal.
Oh, okay.
He was just like primed.
Right. So shortly after the encounter, Combs' entourage leaves the party in 3 vehicles.
Mhm.
Deal and Combs were in the first vehicle.
Biggie was in the second.
Right. Deal tells his driver, run the next 3 lights. Don't stop for any red lights. So as they leave the museum, they made the light and crossed the intersection. Wallace's vehicle, which was behind them, did not. It stopped at the red light. It was stopped in the left lane prior to the intersection. The black Impala, which we had mentioned earlier, driving in the right lane, stopped in Wallace's vehicle and fired 5 shots into the door. The Impala fled by turning right onto Wilshire. The third vehicle, which was the security detail for Combs, tried to give chase to the Impala but lost it right away.
Okay.
A call was placed to 911 and they drove to the hospital rather than wait for an ambulance. While at the hospital, Deal overhears little Cease,
Cease.
who was in the
That's
vehicle with Biggie, saying a Muslim shot Biggie over and over. Deal said to him, blue shirt, white shirt, blue bow tie. And he replied, yeah, how you know? Deal explained that he had seen him earlier.
So he was presumably supposed to shoot P. Diddy.
The assumption was that was
We don't know. I mean, nobody knows.
One could maybe conclude based on what you told me, because Deal, P. Diddy's bodyguard was told to, vest up or whatever because there was an alleged
event
against P. Diddy. They ran the lights, leaving the only 2 other cars behind. I assume they're the same make and model, roughly, of the cars. Then this same guy
but
that
they
approached
didn't
Deal
know that he was in that second
exactly
car.
Right.
went and presumably maybe thought P. Diddy was in the first car, not Biggie
Yeah.
Smalls.
And coincidentally, Biggie and Puff Daddy were both in the same seat in different cars.
In the
Yes,
front passenger.
Because Puff Daddy was in the front vehicle in the passenger seat. Biggie
Correct.
Smalls was in the second vehicle in the passenger seat.
Correct.
Oh. Okay.
So, Deal tells Lil Cease, I explained to him that he had seen this guy earlier.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks later, LAPD detectives went to New York and showed Deal a picture of him and the Muslim from the parking garage. Deal says that the guy's face is blurred out in the photo. Everything else is clear, but the face is intentionally blurred.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
The photo was documented and logged as evidence, but was later removed, and LAPD claimed that it didn't exist.
Dun, dun, dun.
Much later, Deal was shown a photo lineup by a documentary filmmaker, and he positively identified Amir Mohammed as the man in the parking garage dressed like a Nation of Islam member.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So, who's Amir Mohammed?
Yes.
Yes. Good question.
Amir and Mac were close. He was the godfather to Mac's children and
Oh.
was also the only person to visit Mac when he was in custody.
Okay.
When visiting Mac, Amir used aliases to avoid detection of his visits.
Sure.
So that's who Mac is.
So
to
what is
Mohammed.
Mac's relation with P. Diddy?
None?
None? Oh, okay.
No, he's Mac's affiliate to the Bloods and Suge,
Okay. Okay.
and an LAPD officer, former.
Yes.
Okay. So at this time, Poole claims he had enough evidence to prove that Mac had ties to the CEO of Death Row Records, Marion Suge Knight.
Mhm.
He suspected Mac and possibly other officers took part in the murder. Both Mac and Perez were at the Peterson Museum the night of Wallace's murder. Mac as a partygoer and Perez was on duty. Perez was on the crime scene log and allegedly collected shell casings.
Oh.
When Mac was arrested for the bank robbery, a
Mhm.
search of his residence revealed ammunition that was the same make and caliber that was used to kill Biggie Smalls.
So potentially the shell casings that were from the Biggie Smalls shooting.
No, I mean actually unused ammunition.
Oh, okay.
The same make and caliber.
Oh,
That was used to kill
to
Biggie.
kill him. Okay.
Right. And not only that, they also located a black Chevy Impala at Mac's residence. According to reports, Poole was denied any forensic or ballistic evidence gathering of the ammunition or vehicle.
Why would that be? Do you?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Poole had sources that confirmed Mac was raised in the same Compton neighborhood and was in the same gang as Knight or affiliated with. Mac was a frequent visitor at Knight's private parties and frequently wore the same style and color, red, clothes as Knight and the Bloods gang.
Can never be a blood. Red isn't my color.
Yeah, that's why you can't be a blood.
That's exactly why. Look at us. We're blue and red right here.
Getting along fine. So, like I said, most of this information came from the book Labyrinth, which was written by, I don't have his name here. Where'd it go? Randall Sullivan.
Randall Sullivan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poole sends his findings to the then chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, Bernard Parks, who then ordered Poole to cease all investigations of Officer David Mack.
Mm.
In protest of Parks and the LAPD's handling the case, Poole reluctantly retired from the department in late of 99. Distraught from the order to end the Mack investigation early and forced retirement, Poole later stated that I almost took my life, but it was my kids that actually saved me.
My kid's gonna push me over the edge one day.
Exact opposite, right? Well, I believe his kids were older. They were young adults at the time.
Oh, got it. Jesus.
Furthermore, he ended up filing a lawsuit against the LAPD for violating his First Amendment rights by preventing him from going to the public with his findings.
Okay. So he believes Mac
He did, yeah.
and this Amir guy are in on it,
Correct.
Okay.
Responsible for
but he
his
couldn't say
murder.
anything because he was told basically to shut it down by the
Correct.
chief. Okay.
Exactly. As a private investigator, he did continue to investigate it on his own.
Okay.
In order to corroboration
Mhm.
for what Poole investigated and alleged, an inmate named Ken Boagni shared a cell with Rafael Perez for 4 months and was housed in the same unit with him for a total of 8 months.
Okay.
You know the difference between housing and cell. So he was
I
in
do
a
not.
cell.
That's not my world.
A cell actually has 2 inmates.
Oh, you have to share. Okay.
Yes. So they were in that together, but a housing unit will have up to
That's all the different.
that
cells
12 to
in an
18
area.
Is that
cells.
like orange? Oh, okay. No, it's not like open living. It's just okay.
We're gonna say orange is the new black.
Because they had like the more open concept where it was just like bunks of like rows.
So they have.
Oh, wait. You should just use like a HGTV term to describe a prison, an open concept.
I know what you mean. But I'm thinking like individual
you'll have-
cells.
So you have
Yeah.
individual cells in a housing, and you have multiple housings in a jail
Okay.
or prison.
Got it.
So he's saying these two were in the
this-
same cell
for
or in the
4
same
months.
housing, and then in the same housing for 8.
So they
For
were
12 8
roomies
months.
for a bit.
Yeah.
yes, and then they were just in the same.
Because in the same
general
housing
area.
unit, even though you're not sharing a cell with someone.
So they were neighbors.
yeah,
after.
you'll kind of see them in the
Yeah.
day room,
They were in the
feeding, all
neighborhood,
that stuff.
basically.
Got it.
Okay.
So, so obviously he's a prisoner.
Bummer.
So you got to take whatever he says with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Ken said, Biagni said he became friends with Perez,
Mhm.
and Perez told him of numerous crimes he had committed while being an LAPD officer. Biagni alleged that Perez talked about his involvement in the Biggie murder after hearing a notorious B.I.G. song on the radio. Biagni claimed that the money stolen in the bank robbery was intended to go to Harry Billups, also known as Amir Muhammad.
Oh.
Because a lot of Nation of Islam people, whatever, they when they changed their name, there was always
They whitewash
previously.
it, so like, oh, okay.
so it's no opposite.
No, okay, I got that backwards.
Yeah.
That sounded.
So he was probably born Harry Billups, but if he became a
Got
member
it.
of Nation of Islam, he would have changed it to Amir Muhammad.
That makes more sense. I misunderstood the direction of that.
No problem.
So
So
it happens.
Boagny said both Perez and Mack were involved in the murder of Wallace, but Billups was the shooter, or Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Boagny said Perez told him Mack and he were both at the museum on the night of the murder, and Perez was the lookout, providing intel to Mack on the whereabouts of Wallace. There are witness statements that subjects were seen using radios prior to the shooting, professional police radios. According to Boagny, Perez informed Mack that they were heading to their vehicles, and 5 minutes later he was contacted by Mack, telling him to get out of the way. Then Perez said all hell broke loose. So, also in relation to that, I'm not 100% sure who this guy is or what he is. I don't know. His name was Xavier Hermosillo. He claimed he didn't claim to be, he was an LAPD fair rights officer.
What does that mean?
So I'm assuming that because LAPD had so many complaints, citizen complaints, he would follow up with the people that made complaints.
So he's like IA?
Kind of within internal affairs, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Some sort of public relations type officer.
Okay.
In December of 2000, he heard testimony from inmates Boagny and Felipe Sanchez, who were in cells with Perez 2 years apart. He was told by Boagny that 2 officers had visited him prior to the interview and that they would be shanked, and threatened that they would be shanked or stabbed if they talked to him.
What's
being
the
Hermosillo.
difference between shanking and stabbing?
I feel like shanking's like
So I believe
multiple.
a stabbing is going to be with a knife.
Okay, and
A shanking is
sharp object.
exactly going to be like a homemade shank made within the prison confinement.
You can let your creative juices fly with that one.
Right.
Got it. The Pinterest version.
Yeah, I believe that's what it's called now.
Yep.
In prison. So during Hermosillo's investigation, he came across a photo of Mack and Perez with a female standing in between them. All 3 were dressed in red and standing over a cake that read Blood's Rule. Hermosillo identified the female
Was
as
she the bank lady?
She was not.
Oh.
She was the daughter of LAPD Police Chief Bernard Parks.
Oh.
Which is presumably why he told Poole to shut down his investigation. Because his daughter was somehow involved.
Possibly.
Oh.
That's more interesting.
So Hermosillo claimed he booked the photo as evidence and it was never seen again.
Interesting.
So if you look up his daughter, there's not a whole lot of information on her. She apparently was like a clerk of some sort for the LAPD or the city of LA, who was eventually arrested in Vegas for cocaine trafficking or possession. I didn't want to get into it, but she got into trouble once. I believe she wasn't really actually officially charged.
Okay.
Said she was there at the wrong time, wrong place.
Mhm.
But anyway, it doesn't sound like she was always on the up and up.
Gotcha.
Maybe.
Okay.
Or hung out with the wrong crowd.
Sorry.
So after all this, Biggie Smalls, his mom is still alive. Her name is Valletta.
Okay.
In April of 2002, she filed a wrongful death claim against the city of Los Angeles based on Poole's investigation.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Valletta claimed that the LAPD had sufficient evidence to arrest the gunman, but
they
failed to
didn't.
use it. Mack and Muhammad, aka Harry Billups, were originally named as defendants in the civil suit, but were dropped shortly after the trial began after the LAPD and FBI dismissed them as suspects. The case came for the trial before a jury on June 21st, 2004. On the eve of the trial, a key witness who expected to testify, Kevin Hackey, revealed that he'd suffered memory lapses due to psychiatric medications.
God.
He had previously testified to knowledge of involvement between Knight, Mack, and Muhammad, but later said that the Wallace attorneys had altered his declarations to include words he never said. Hackey took full blame for filing a false declaration. Several days into the trial, the plaintiff's attorneys disclosed to the court and opposing counsel that he had received a telephone call from someone claiming to be an LAPD officer and provided detailed information about the existence of evidence concerning the Wallace murder.
Mm.
The court directed the city to conduct a thorough investigation, which uncovered previously undisclosed evidence, much of which was in a desk or cabinet of Detective Stephen Katz, the lead detective in the Wallace investigation.
Oh, okay.
The document centered around interviews by numerous police officers of an incarcerated informant who had been a cellmate of imprisoned Rampart officer Rafael Perez,
Mhm.
which we just talked. It's
Yeah.
obviously is Boagni.
Xavier.
No, not Xavier. Kenneth Boagni.
Oh, okay. Boagni.
He reported that Perez told him about his and Mac's involvement with Death Road Records and their activities at the Peterson Automotive Museum the night of Wallace's murder. As a result of the newly discovered evidence, the judge declared a mistrial and awarded the Wallace family its attorney's fees, which was around $1 million.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. So, because it was declared a mistrial, there was going to be another. She was going to sue him again. So, to preempt that, LAPD decides to do a second investigation. Because whenever a police agency does an investigation, you may know this. What happens when the media asks a question about the investigation?
They don't answer the
It's an
question.
ongoing investigation.
Because it's an ongoing investigation. So if there's an ongoing investigation and Wallace's family wants more information, it's not available,
It can't be
released because there's an ongoing investigation.
Mhm.
So in July of 2006, a task force was formed and the criminal investigation into Wallace's murder was reopened to look for new evidence to help the city defend the civil lawsuits brought by the Wallace family.
Mhm.
So they were suing for roughly $400 million.
Yeah.
Which,
How do people come up with these numbers? I don't understand.
so back then, music made money.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So you have to look at what Biggie could have made.
Yeah.
Should he continue to make music?
Okay. The
And
projected,
royalties
anticipated.
projecting, right?
Okay.
With damages and losing your loved one and all that kind of shit too.
Right.
Sure.
So that $400 million is probably not that far off.
Okay.
You know, if you think about potential earning income.
Okay. When you look at it holistically, that makes sense.
And you look at it throughout a lifetime,
Sure.
essentially, right? Because his songs, anytime they get used for a commercial or whatever.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Got it.
So rumor is that had that lawsuit won, it somehow bankrupts the LAPD and they cease to exist.
Okay.
Now that I'm not 100% sure on because I believe most cities and police agencies have insurance.
They do.
Yeah.
And that insurance should pay that out. So I'm not totally sold on that theory.
But maybe
you become
aftermath,
uninsurable after that. I don't know.
You don't want to deal with the optics of that. So
right. So before that next lawsuit is coming, the LAPD decides to investigate it again.
Okay.
Essentially, so they don't have to give information.
Possibly
About,
that's allegedly.
Yes.
Okay. So they hire a retired LAPD detective named Greg Kading, who worked for 3 years on a gang task force that included the Wallace case. Kading alleged that the rapper was shot by Wardell Pucci Faust. Faust was a Mob Piru gang member and associate of Knight, who also conveniently died on July 4th, 2003.
So convenient.
After being shot in the back while riding his motorcycle in Compton.
Jesus.
So Kading believes Knight hired Faust to kill Wallace to avenge the death of Tupac Shakur.
Yes.
Via his girlfriend, Teresa Swan. Kading alleges Shakur was killed under the order of Combs.
My God.
Okay, wait, you just lost me.
There are so many people that are just bam, 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 bam.
So Kading says that Tupac was killed on the order of Sean Puffy Combs.
So P. Diddy said, kill Tupac.
Right.
Okay.
So to
That's
avenge
why
that,
someone wanted to kill allegedly P. Diddy that one night, but presumably he went through the red lights and that's why Biggie got killed.
In Kading's theory, Combs was not a target.
Oh. Okay.
He says it was specifically Biggie in order to, because you took mine, I take yours.
Okay.
So
Biggie was retaliation for Tupac being killed.
Correct.
Okay.
And in Kading's investigation, he says that it's straight and simple. He used this woman named Teresa Swan to communicate to Pucci, kill Biggie.
Vengeance is confusing. Let's be real. There's too many people that are
right. Very, very straightforward.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Well,
Well, that one is.
Kading's
I think I
theory,
believe that one.
carrying theory is very straightforward, and it's very convenient that the person he's accusing of killing him.
Yeah.
is dead.
I don't think I believe that one.
It's
So-
very convenient. I don't.
Yeah.
Now, simultaneously at the same time, the FBI, who had been involved with the LAPD due to a consent decree because of the whole Rampart scandal.
The female
Okay.
body investigators.
Get out of here.
Did you buy that shirt at a gift shop?
I sure did.
Okay.
At Venice Beach.
Yeah. So, an FBI agent by the name of Phil Carson was also conducting an investigation into LAPD and if officers were involved in the corruption and the murder of Wallace. FBI officials conducted a review of the investigation and shut it down in January of 2005 after learning that Agent Carson had discussions with lawyers for Wallace's mother, Valletta Wallace, and had been subpoenaed to testify in her wrongful death lawsuit against the city.
Mm.
Okay.
Prior to being shut down, Carson's findings were in line with Poole, and he vehemently, yes, thank you,
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
opposed Kading's theory that Faust was able to kill Wallace in a poorly planned drive-by shooting.
Oh.
So what does Carson believe?
He was
He
in line
vehemently-
with Poole.
I got so lost on the vehemently. I forgot the point.
He was in agreement with very much with Poole's investigation.
And Pole's the first guy. The first
Yes.
investigating officer.
Yes.
Yes.
You're the-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Carson completely disagreed with Kading's
Uh-huh.
investigation and that it was some random drive-by that was poorly no. He didn't think that if you look at the evidence of the vehicle when it was shot,
Mhm.
all 5 rounds were right into the door of the front passenger.
Okay.
So it wasn't like someone could just drive up and just fire random shots.
It was intentional.
It was intentionally for that one person in that seat,
Okay.
whether it have been Holmes
Biggie
or
or
Biggie.
Kennedy or
Right. So finally, in the second lawsuit on April 16, 2007, relatives of Biggie Smalls, aka Wallace, filed a second wrongful death suit against the city of Los Angeles. The suit also named 2 LAPD officers in the center of the investigation into the Rampart scandal, Perez and Nino Durden. According to the claim, Perez, an alleged affiliate of Death Row Records, admitted to LAPD officials that he and Mac, who was not named in the lawsuit, conspired to murder and participated in the murder of Christopher Wallace.
Mhm.
The Wallace family said the LAPD consciously concealed Rafael Perez's involvement in the murder of Wallace.
Biggie Smalls, right?
Biggie
Yes.
Smalls, yes.
Wallace is Biggie.
United States District Judge Florence Marie Cooper granted summary judgment to the city on December 17, 2007, finding that the Wallace family had not complied with a California law that required the family to give notice of its claim to the state within 6 months of Wallace's death.
It's a nitpicky thing on purpose.
That's some bullshit.
Big time. The Wallace family refiled the suit, dropping the state law claims on May 27, 2008. The suit against the city of Los Angeles was finally dismissed in 2010. It was described by the New York Times as one of the longest running and most contentious
that's
celebrity
so
cases in history.
What, 1997
Yeah, how many
to
years?
2010?
That's almost 20 years.
Sure.
That's 17 years.
17.
The Wallace suit had asked for $500 million from the
No.
city.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was 13 years, but then you said it so.
There was so
Like,
much conviction
so much
behind what we
conviction.
said. No, I added a whole decade and
13
subtracted 3
years.
years.
What?
God
And-
damn it.
What? Goddamn what?
She just can't do math.
All right.
Nope.
In December 2012,
It's
the
just a life
LAPD
we
released the autopsy results conducted on Wallace's body to generate new leads. The release was criticized by the longtime lawyer of his estate, Perry Sanders Jr., who objected to an autopsy. The case remains officially unsolved despite a good amount of evidence being found.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, what do you think is the most
Yeah, give
logical explanation?
What do you think happened?
Based on all your research, what's your gut telling you? Allegedly.
I think Poole's investigation was spot on. And I think Perez and Mac and Suge and the Bloods conspired to
Kill him because
kill
of
him.
Tupac.
I don't. I don't know if it was because of Tupac. I mean, if they actually believe. So if you go back, there's a lot of unnecessary beef between this East Coast, West Coast thing.
100%.
Shut the fuck up.
I know. Beef.
85%.
There's things that happen. Like Tupac and Biggie actually were friendly.
Okay.
It
Were
wasn't
they writing
until
diss tracks about each other though at the end?
later on they and I think you talk about it in your
In our
Episode?
Tupac episode.
Tupac, where he goes to visit Biggie and gets shot like 5 times,
Yes.
but survives. Right.
Right.
So Tupac and maybe his associates seem to think that was something that Biggie ordered, or Puffy or whoever. So that starts like this whole thing, and Biggie never had anything to do with it. He doesn't understand like why. And then there's like some lyrics that Biggie says in one of his songs that someone says, "Oh, he's talking about you." And then Tupac does a song where he's like,
Yeah, they're doing diss tracks for sure.
yeah, but
against one
Tupac's
another.
is like right on the nose. There's no question who he's talking
Yeah.
about and what he's trying to say. So that creates like this whole thing. And then people say that, like, you have to remember, Tupac didn't grow up in the gangs. He wasn't like NWA or somewhere. He grew up in
grew up on
Compton.
the East Coast.
He did.
Right.
He was
And
in
then
East
he moved to
Coast and
California.
California.
That was surprising.
And
Yeah.
he just kind of lived in between.
So his whole gang persona didn't start until he became under the Death Row Records label.
Yes.
And he kind of took on that
that association.
right.
Yeah.
and then became an adversary of Biggie and the whole East Coast, West Coast thing.
Okay.
So if you take that into heart and Suge Knight, and then believe that was a thing, that rivalry is a thing, and that they're the ones that killed Tupac, they took basically every dollar out of Suge's pocket by doing that. So if he believes that and he wants revenge, then that's what he's going to go and do. Or if they just thought it was disrespect that he was coming to the West Coast that soon, after Tupac had died.
I'm kind of leaning more towards that someone thought it was P. Diddy, and it was just kind of a
wrong place, wrong time.
place, wrong time, because they ran those red lights and Biggie's car didn't.
I feel like there was some like foreknowledge there to
and especially if P. Diddy's,
that's not the right word.
No, I agree. Especially if P. Diddy's bodyguard was told that an imminent threat might be coming, and they specifically ran red lights. Maybe they thought they were being tailed, whatever. And then Biggie's crew didn't get that thing. Allegedly, P. Diddy would be in the first car. If you didn't know the first car ran those red lights, therefore Biggie Smalls would be in the
car
first car
that you saw was,
and then you would shoot it in the same spot that P. Diddy was sitting. I don't know. That sounds a little suspicious.
Yeah.
So on the cracked scale.
So, I mean, how do we quantify this one?
That is a good point.
There is something foul afoot, obviously.
Yeah, because with Tupac, it was, yes, he was for sure killed, but
the question was whether he's alive or not.
This one is he was for sure murdered, but who did it?
Who did it? So I always kind of go for midline with the perfectly plausible yet definitely deniable.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at the scale, man?
Well,
it serves
no,
a
I'm
purpose.
not the scale, the way that it rhymes. And you said it like in sync.
Yeah, I do that.
That happens a lot.
I think I would
go midline.
That, yeah. Doing it. But anyway, so that was the death of Biggie Smalls. That was super interesting. I didn't know.
There were a lot more people involved.
Oh, there was like 800 people. I had no idea the LAPD was involved or anything.
It was more, just involved.
I never
That's
gave
the word
it
of the
thought,
day.
actually.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Way better than your previous conspiracy you wanted to cover, which is cool, I guess. It's just not my jam, but yeah.
So, having now been an active participant for a single episode, would you want to come back and do another topic?
Yeah, if I find something worth
discussing. I'm sure we will inspire you, just like we inspired you to do this episode.
We have a whole. So, our next episode, I think it is your turn.
It is my turn. It's going to be a topic that I've received many requests on, actually. It's something I had already planned on doing, but because so many people keep hitting me up about it, I'm going to finally do it. It's going to be MK Ultra.
Ooh.
What?
What is MK Ultra?
Explain it for the
I
geriatric
don't
crowd.
fucking know.
here.
It's like a government conspiracy where they would secretly dose people with LSD
Ooh.
and many other things.
Maybe that's my problem.
Have you been secretly dosed with LSD? You're just rolling through the
You
nuts
just
right
want to
now.
be date raped? Is that what's happening?
I like nuts.
Anywho,
So
that really just kind of sums up how this day has gone.
it has. I think this was a successful episode.
It
I learned a
was.
lot. I was lost, not gonna lie, for 80% of it, but then
It came
I came
around.
back.
Yeah,
Together.
it
did.
was a little different
If I took
having
notes, it helped.
having a third voice in the mix.
Yeah, that was
But
interesting.
I think you acclimated well. I
and
only
we will
threw
see
you off a couple
how
times.
people, feel about it. And
We might
then,
invite you back for
depending
another
on how
topic.
they like you or not.
Tell me how you liked it in the comments.
Perfect. So if anyone wants to reach us, we obviously have our email, crackedsistersconspiracies@gmail.com. Again, we have our Instagram, which we are most active on. I post on it
Sure.
weekly.
I never check it.
You don't.
I see
do.
the notifications and I ignore them. I'm sorry.
So you're basically talking to me. But yeah, you can give us episode suggestions, feedback, but nice feedback. We also have our Patreon, which is patreon.com/crackedsistersconspiracies.
Give us your money.
You can give us
We'll
$1.
give you our
You can give
pictures.
us $3 or $5. Maybe I'll show you my feet. Who knows? Whatever you're into.
Yuck.
He doesn't like feet, but we're over here considering
You have
starting
nice feet.
OnlyFans. So
So there's many different ways to show your appreciation for us
and our feet.
And our feet. So yeah, that's
You can't see my feet.
no, I don't think anyone wants to see your feet.
Is there a price?
No,
There's always a price.
my big toe has a fungus.
Well, now
would
I'm
love to see
curious.
this. If you want to
Just a
see
toe.
James's big fungus toe, please donate $5 to our Patreon and we will show you it.
We will make your dreams come true.
We will. But otherwise, I think that's it. So stay cracked, y'all.
And have a great day.